Nintendo has some of the best gaming franchises of all time. With franchises like Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, and Pokemon, they're usually getting games about every year these days. But some Nintendo franchises just aren't that lucky and haven't received games in forever. Franchises like Kid Icarus have just been swept underneath the rug and left to rot. So in this video, I'll just be talking about the Nintendo franchises that Nintendo has just completely given up on, it feels like. Hopefully this video spreads some awareness to some of these amazing Nintendo franchises that just aren't in the limelight with the top dogs anymore. The first Nintendo franchise I'm going to talk about is the StarFox franchise. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say I absolutely love the StarFox franchise. I've played some of the games in the franchise though and have had some fun playing them. The StarFox hasn't received a game since the Wii U, and StarFox Zero was an amazing addition to the series, and I don't really understand why Nintendo just hasn't made another game after it so far. It was widely considered the best game in the series as well. With the great graphics it offered and amazing controls, it was a really fun experience. But it's been about 10 years since we even got StarFox Zero, and with the new Nintendo console coming out sometime next year, it's very likely we're just not going to get a StarFox game for the Nintendo Switch, which is very disappointing since I thought StarFox Zero was a pretty good game. I honestly expected it to at least get a port over to the Switch since games like Super Mario Bros. U, Tropical Freeze, and 3D World got ports to the Switch. Usually Nintendo is pretty good about giving the StarFox franchise games. It's gotten at least one game on every console since the Super Nintendo, so it's just very odd that we haven't heard anything about the StarFox franchise. But hopefully on the Switch 2 or whatever the next console is, we get some sort of StarFox game, because right now it seems like Nintendo just completely forgot about it. Earthbound is one of those fever dream games. This franchise is so out there, and that's what makes it so beloved by so many Nintendo fans. But this franchise hasn't gotten a game since 2006, which was Mother 3, but that was a Japanese exclusive game. So if you want to play it, you better be able to read Japanese. I have no clue why Nintendo just completely abandoned Earthbound. Like I said earlier, there's really no RPG game like it on the market. The only reminders we have of the Earthbound franchise is Super Smash Bros, since Ness and Lucas are playable in Ultimate. I can't believe Nintendo hasn't even at least attempted another Earthbound game. I would even be upset if they remade it into the style like Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, or even how they did with Mario RPG on the Switch. Heck, even if they made an Earthbound collection game that included all three of them, I'd be super happy, since we'd be able to play the 3 games in English, and then younger fans can experience the franchise for the first time. It's not even like the Earthbound games were completely ripped apart by fans either. The franchise always had supportive fans, and even supported by many people who just love the games in general. It's also one of my dad's favorite Nintendo games of all time as well. He would always tell me how much he loved the series, and then whenever I got to experience on the SNES Classic for the first time, I absolutely loved the series. So the reason why Nintendo doesn't make more Earthbound games just confuses the crap out of me. The Punch-Out franchise is one of my favorite retro franchises of all time. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is in my top 3 NES games. I just love the simple gameplay and trying to figure out how to defeat my opponent. This franchise hasn't received a game since 2009 on the Wii. I have no clue why there hasn't been a new game since then, especially on the Switch. I feel like the Switch would be a perfect console for a Punch-Out game to be on, since you can do motion controls and play without them. I know praising this franchise probably gives me unk status, but I'm a proud fan of Punch-Out, and I would always go back and play the older games every once in a while. Super Punch-Out was okay though, but I will always pick Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, especially since back then my family would just whip out the NES and we'd all play Punch-Out, so it has a special place in my heart. I'm sure it wouldn't even take Nintendo that long to make a new Punch-Out game. I feel like it's just one of those games they could just randomly reveal and release in the same year. FZero is another franchise that I'm surprised hasn't gotten a game for the last 20 years. I'm not even joking either. The FZero franchise hasn't gotten a game since the GameCube era, which is more understanding than most of the franchises on this list, since Mario Kart is a gaming giant. The Mario Kart games always sell incredibly well on whatever system they're released on, so that usually makes them the go-to racing game to buy. So F-Zero is just pretty much overshadowed by Mario Kart. But one idea I did come up with on one of my many future Mario Kart videos I've made, I brought up how they could maybe add a F-Zero mode in the next Mario Kart game or something along those lines. It's not even an outlandish take either, since Mario Kart 8 has 2 F-Zero tracks for some odd reason. So I don't think it'd be too crazy for them to even add Captain Falcon along with the F-Zero mode. I mean, they already have the 2 F-Zero tracks and Captain Falcon's car, so they're just right there to making the F-Zero game. And for them, adding Captain Falcon makes a lot of sense as well, since the Mario Kart roster is basically turned into a Super Smash Bros. Roster. The Inklings are in Mario Kart, so is Link and some Animal Crossing characters, so they might as well add Captain Falcon, Kirby, Samus to the next Mario Kart game. I don't really understand how Nintendo hasn't made a new Kid Icarus game since the 3DS. The game that came out on the 3DS was amazing amazing, and after it came out, they just gave up on the franchise again. I honestly thought we'd get another Kid Icarus game on the Switch at some point, or at least some sort of port or remake of the 3DS game. But hopefully on the next console they revive this franchise, kinda how the Switch made Metroid mainstream. Nintendo can easily make any of these franchises more popular like they did with Metroid. Kid Icarus has a ton of potential in my opinion, and I really like Pit as a character. I'm not even gonna lie, I wouldn't even mind if Nintendo made a new Kid Icarus platformer too. I think it has potential like Metroid Dread in a way. But even if they didn't do that, making a game like they did on the 3DS would work perfectly. It was another game that was praised for how good it was, and ever since then Nintendo just hasn't brought it back up. But I even brought up the game a couple of times on videos I've made remakes of. I've always been a supporter of the Kid Icarus series and would absolutely love it if Nintendo gave it another shot. They already risked making the game once and succeeded, so I know they can do it again. So you guys are probably gonna question this spot, but Ice Climbers honestly deserve a new game. I really think this franchise has a ton of potential, but not like the NES game, of course. That game is pretty bad, but I think some sort of 3D platformer or something along those lines would be perfect for them. Everyone loves the Ice Climbers because of Super Smash Bros, so why not try to make a good game for them? Smash Bros is the only reason Ice Climbers in general are even relevant, which the more you think about it, it's very upsetting since it really has no identity really. But I do think there's a ton of potential to be had in the Ice Climbers franchise. I just wish Nintendo would feel motivated enough to make a new game for them. Nintendo has made a career off taking risks throughout their history, and they usually succeed, so I would love it if they brought the Ice Climbers back to life in a brand new game. The last franchise I'm gonna discuss is Mario Baseball. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love Mario Sluggers back on the Wii. I don't even like baseball like that in real life, so me loving this game is just so unexpected. I always thought it'd be a perfect game for them to introduce to the Switch since it does offer motion controls, but even without that, they can still make it since the GameCube had a Mario Baseball game. Baseball is a huge sport globally, so it's just shocking they haven't made another one since the Wii. The only thing that worries me is Nintendo ruining the franchise, because the newer Mario sports games have just been pitiful, so there's always that thought they could mess up the game and everyone ends up being mad at Nintendo. Well, those are the Nintendo franchises that have just basically disappeared off the face of the universe. Are you mad that I didn't talk about Excitebike? Tell me in the comments which Nintendo franchise you miss the most. I think out of all the ones I mentioned, I think I miss Earthbound or Kid Icarus the most. Those Nintendo franchises are amazing and loved by a lot of fans. Hopefully some of these games get the love they deserve soon, but any day one of these franchises could come back though. We just recently saw it with the Mario and Luigi games, and I'm very excited to play Brothership. But guys, about the channel, I'm very sorry for making this on a Monday. I know I said I would upload weekly with these type of videos, of course, too, but I've been very busy with school, guys. Oh my goodness, it's so tough out here in these streets. But I think I'm gonna really try and commit, like I said, to making a video like this every weekend and uploading a shorter video during the week. I'm gonna get back up on top of my YouTube. I've just really been like struggling with procrastination because I get tired from doing schoolwork and stuff. So I just gotta get the better mindset, but it will be fixed, guys, I promise. Also, before I end off the video, make sure to vote for my retrospective video on my community post. I really wanted you guys to vote for it because I couldn't really decide on what game to make it about. So go in the community post and vote for which game you want me to do a retrospective of. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed and peace out.